What's happening? It's yours truly, Javon Freeman, back with another one. I want to start this off by saying add me on IG at the b.o.m.experience. On the YouTube page, like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. And I also want to say thank you for, just tuning in, even watching the videos. I appreciate it all. And if you don't like it, even give a dislike. I'm all right with that too. Um, Definitely want to get into this. Nicholas Irvin is back on the channel. I don't always agree with everything he says, but off the top of the head, I'll be honest, I can't think of a time I haven't agreed with it. I just know usually for the fact that every person is their own person, principle has it, you're not always going to agree. But this is something right here where I ain't going to cap. I watched like a good 5 minutes of it and it dawned on me. I said, oh, let me add this to the channel, something to react to. I think this is a good topic. Everything comes back around full circle. But yeah, let's get into this.
Okay. Bringing this thing back to Trump for 5 minutes. Vlad, he sat down with D.L. Hughley, and D.L. Hughley, I give him his props because he touched on something that I think needs to be spoken about. He called out all of those black Republicans who campaigned on Trump's behalf, and they earned no seats in his cabinet once he was elected. People like Herschel Walker, Candace Owens, Ben Carson, Mark Robinson, Tim Scott, Byron Dot, just to name a few. These are dudes who they were front and center wearing that red hat, and they were proud that Trump knew them on by first name basis. And now that these cabinet positions are being given out, DL is right. What seat are y'all getting? Is that not crazy?
Dirty game. Politics is a dirty game. I'll never understand it. I'll never want to be a part of it. It's a dirty, dirty game. Like I said, to get up to a position of power, you got to have some dirt. You got to do bad stuff to people. I don't know. I just don't. It's a dirty game. And what comes with the dirty game is dirt.
Now, this is something where I wanted to preface because I agree, yet I disagree. In the Piscean age of time, the energy that surrounded the universe or that flowed within the universe surrounded the planet to get to a high stage of power, dominance, a lot of wealth and resources, more than likely you had to do something nefarious behind the scenes, or you had to get some dirt under your fingernails. Oh, shit. I was muted. So this is where I agree yet disagree. In the Piscean age of times, the Piscean age basically denoting the energy that was predominantly flowing in the universe, or the energy surrounding the planet. Usually when you got to a certain stage of power, wealth, or resources, you got dirt under your hands. Times is changing. There's more information in the world. That doesn't have to be the way. Is that going to mean that everybody all of a sudden is a good person that gets the money and gets the power and resources? No. However, there's more information where that can become less of the case. So I agree, yet I disagree. But we're in a new state, a new time. So,
so I can't get mad or hate because some dirt was thrown. We all knew it was dirty. We all knew it. They wanted to participate, so.
And I'll even say this too. I made it clear on my channel, I would have voted for Donald Trump. The universe had it so that I couldn't vote, just how things aligned. It is what it is. But I understand the game I'm playing. I wasn't expecting anybody of color to get into cabinet picks or anything like that. I wasn't looking for none of that. I'm thinking, and this is just for me personally, I think every day for certain topics, certain things require a certain frame of mind. I know when it comes to politics, countries, nations, and things like that, you got to be able to think 50, 100, 200, 300, even 1,000 years in advance. So I'm sitting here already masterminding and this is just on my own personal level, what would be the benefits of a Kamala being in or Donald Trump? What is going on in the planet? How is this really that important of an election? Is this a standout election? What could possibly transpire? Will certain people go to jail, or would this person be revered? What will happen with the economy? A whole slew of things, just a whole variety of questions, which I'm going through. So I personally, I played the game. I'm not sitting here letting the game get played on me. There's a whole difference. When I see people that buy into it, and I go, good for you, because I understand most people aren't thinking even down to the end of next week. So people don't naturally have a calendar that they try to stick by to give themselves some structure so they can have order and a system to work with. Uh, that ain't the case over here. So you see me talking about politics because I'm understanding that things require a level of thought, focus, and intention that needs to go years down the line.
What can they get mad about? You're in a dirty game. You want to come out on top clean? Doesn't make any sense because your feelings are hurt, and because I look like you playing a dirty game. I have nothing. I have no sympathy, and I have no connection with people in politics. I don't care if you're black, white, whatever. Like, it's a dirty game. By nature, you're a dirty person. I don't trust you. I don't trust you. I don't like you. You're a politician. By nature, your job is to trick people. You're a polytrickster. I don't care about you. Like, you have
Tricks of many methods.
the fact that we want people to rule over our world, our way of life in the first place, and we want to vote to have people tell us what to do is weird to me. I don't want that. Why would I want another man telling me what to do?
Now, I will say this too. I like that he says it, but I don't know if he would have been speaking this way if he didn't join the armed forces. A lot of people don't come to these conclusions without having some form of discipline being bestowed upon them. And a lot of people we see with these single mother households. I'm fortunate, even though part of my life was single mother living, the vast majority of the beginning of my life, my father was heavily active in my life, which I'm thankful for. So that was my disciplinarian. And that's where I get my free thinking, think for self, critical thought processes. Um, but a lot of people that join the armed forces, a lot of times they don't have that from their father. And if they did, then that means a legacy in the armed forces of some sorts. And, but we even see that there's something missing with that, But anyway, that's a conversation for another time. Let's get into it.
I don't know you. What are you going to do, spank me? You know what I mean?
Okay. So what's the alternative?
I wish.
Live under a regime where
No.
one person rules.
No, I don't believe that. I don't think, I wish we were all consciously and spiritually, whatever you want to call it, aware or mature enough to where we didn't need people to rule over us. But unfortunately,
And that's very true. A lot of people, when you do research, even on the U.S. Constitution, people sit here and say, "Oh, the U.S. Constitution was one of the first written documents of its kind," and things of that nature. Incorrect. Copper color parties, even the indigenous of these lands before uh, colonization, they had their own documents in which uh, the Constitution borrowed a lot of aspects from. There's a lot of stuff that isn't talked about in regular civics class. Even the Bill of Rights amendments, the natives or the indigenous, they had their own already, their own governments, parties, and it was very like the whole liberty, right to bear arms and stuff. All of that comes from the native tribes governments, indigenous tribes governments. I'm not talking about your $5 Indians. I'm talking about your genuine brown skinned, copper colored Indians or Native Americans, indigenous people. Um, let's get into it.
we got dummies, and there's a lot of dummies in the world that we need people or have to have people to keep order. Because if not, I could see the mayhem. I just want no parts of it though. I don't want to play the game. I don't politics is
It's a dirty
Babylonian.
game,
It's
man.
a
Nah,
Babylonian sport.
you said it. You said it. You said it best. Like it can't be said any better than that.
And I also want to add this into. I don't want to necessarily say people are dumb, but people are still energetically infantile. Don't forget, a lot of people of European descent ancestors had to be brought out of what was known as the Dark Ages, and then even and that was Eastern Europe, Western Europe. I mean, no, that was Western Europe. That was in the Dark Ages. Eastern Europe couldn't stop having fighting within its own factions. I mean, they've never had a true empire reign for a super long time. And what happened in the Dark Ages? Lack of information, lack of water, not just running water, but drinking water, waste on the streets. So there was crazy amounts of disease forming and festering. It was just a unnatural. It became a waste society. Um, well, a lot of people didn't even have water to drink, so a lot of the time they were drunk, drinking a lot of fermented liquids just to stay hydrated, and that inevitably ends up making you stink. And man, so I wouldn't necessarily say a lot of people are stupid, but spiritually, the connection to the planet is still in its infantile stages amongst certain groups of people. This is that level of intellect that you don't intellectual conversation that you're not going to get in your regular school system, because how do you tell somebody who's in a spiritual sense infantile stages that you're an infant, and they're sitting in a classroom with someone who was arguably the same age as you on a third dimensional plateau, but spiritually they're hundreds of years down the line. They understand certain things. They have the ability to alchemize because they have a genetic predisposition to understand certain things. It's a it can be complex for some. It's a very simple conversation, but because of the emotions and lack of understanding, it grows to be complex for some people. And a lot of times we just don't want to hurt people's feelings and stuff like that. But this is the beauty of it. When you got this technology, these cell phones, we have to do our best to have some type of compassion, but still let the truth be the truth.
It's a dirty game.
Yeah.
But just by its very nature,
Mm-hmm.
it's a dirty game. I'm looking at how old is old man Biden? 81 years old,
I
80,
thought he was
81 years
pushing
old.
90s, something like that.
Yo, Biden said in no uncertain terms, and he
Oh,
was asked no less than 100 times by
his
100
son.
different media outlets, if my son is convicted,
Mm-hmm.
I will not pardon him.
Isn't that crazy? And then when he pardons him, he's like, "What'd you expect me to do? He's my son." You know? Like that should tell you everything you need to know about all politicians, to the bottom to the top. This is the president telling the American people. The president.
And now, mind you, it's not like a form of debate hasn't been going. Muted again. Mind you, it's not like forms of debating hasn't been around. Humans have been debating since humans have been humans. Politics is a subdivision of debate, and that's what the politricks, form of tricks or forms of illusions on the mind, whether it be verbal, physical, spiritual, things of that nature. That is a newfound practice. Uh, and that's a form of alchemy as well. Alchemy is a lot more complex than just what Merriam-Webster defines it to be. But let's take a form of alchemy, right? Oh, I took it off. Okay. 1 second. Oh, take this gold chain, for example. In its raw natural form, gold does not look like this. But to get something to look like this, you have to alchemize it. Full metal alchemy. All right. So you apply a lot of heat energy, and you're changing one thing from its natural state into another form. Alchemy. All right. Let's get back into it.
President of the United States telling the American people 100 times, hey, I'm not going to pardon my son. He's going to, he's going to have, he made his bed, lay down in it. But then when the time came, he's the first one to be pardoned. And was like, well, what'd you guys expect me to do? He's my son. You guys know that. Like, what would you do for your kid? And we were supposed to sit back like, damn, you know what? He is right. I would do that for my kid. But would you have lied the entire 100 times before that? If you're comfortable with that, then you're a great politician. You're a dirty liar, you know? And that's all it is. The president of the United States that's one thing. That's just one thing. We get lied to all the time, and we keep wanting to play the game and vote for what, a better liar? I'm good. It's a Babylonian sport. And I'm all about, yeah.
And now, if anybody knows anything about the Tower of Babylon is where people don't speak the same language but yet have to interact. That is a form of alchemy as well. All right, that's high level application and critical thinking. But again, another conversation for another day.
Babylon can burn, man. The whole politic game is stupid. The fact that they can lie and we have a conversation about it and it's funny, like it's a joke. That's what we are to them. It's a joke. When the people in power can lie to your face and the only thing we can do about it is joke about it, laugh about it, and play the game again. Knowing we're going to get, that's the definition of insanity.
It's definitely a modern definition of insanity. I think I spoke about it on this channel. Almost and Wilson referenced it, but somebody else referenced it as well in one of his writings. I think it was in a novel. But America can be looked at as an outdoor asylum. You know, oh yeah. Go to work, pay taxes. Did we not forget that even the people that colonized this landmass understood that paying taxes was no good unless it was actually going back into the people? And a lot of our tax money doesn't come back to the people. And arguably the common person, we ain't talking about no millionaire, the average everyday person, go to work, go home, take care of your family, go to bed, repeat the same pattern. They're busting out somewhere around 85+% of taxes from federal, state, your local grocery market, convenience tax, like insurance tax, auto tax, property tax. You don't even own your property. You got to pay taxes on it.
We're going to play the game again and expect a different result. But the past 10 results prior to this, generations, it's all been the same. We've been lied to. Okay, let's vote. Let's do it again. That's the definition of insanity.
Nah, that's so true. And here's the crazy part.
Excuse me.
Had Biden just said this from the gate,
They've been fine.
who could be mad at, like, real talk?
Yeah.
If he had just said no comment, if he had just said from the gate.
But here's the thing, Biden couldn't have done that from the gate. Why? Because then that would have said that you're guilty for doing things that was against the law. See, so it's an entity that was built off of lies, deceit, deception, murder, and so many other things can only go for so long before it starts to trip over its own feet. Even like a little kid can only lie for so much before they forget a prior lie they told, and now they got to tell more lies to keep up with it. This is now the metaphorical essence of a liar tripping over their own feet.
I'm a human being.
Yep.
I'm caught between a rock and a hard place, and I really got to sit on this and pray. I understand I'm the president of the free world, but I'm also a human being, and I'm a father, and we will revisit this when the time comes. Because truth be told, I'd have did the same thing.
Yeah,
You'd have did the same thing.
Yeah.
Any parent would have done the same thing.
Yep.
He just jammed himself up by being so definitive
He
that
wasn't
I
being a
won't do
human.
it.
He wasn't being a human being. He was being a politician. He was being a liar. You know, and that's what they do. You as a human being and me as a human being, we know these things, and it's comfortable for us to be like, hey, when the time comes, I'll see what. But we all know what we're gonna do, or just tell the truth to begin with. You know, that's my son. What do you think? I'm the president of the damn United States. Of course, I'm gonna pardon my son. Of course. But instead, a non-human would just, you know, cortisol along and say for 102 times, no, I'm not going to do that. And then when the time comes, just be like, well, whatever. They don't care. They don't care at all. The fact that we think and want them to care blows my mind. You cannot, that's like trying to teach a dog to juggle, you know, using just his paws. It ain't going to happen. You're trying to teach a fish to breathe air. It ain't going to happen.
Nope.
So to want and ask and hope for a politician who won't lie to you, it's the same thing. You're asking a fish to breathe and do backflips. No. A fish belongs in the water, a liar belongs in politics.
Whoa. Okay, so do you think, had Biden not been asked to step aside, not been
That's some real shit. That's real spill. That's, hey man. So I say study your words, read your books, study your languages. I get it. Most Americans don't want to learn languages outside of their language, but English is just the first step. When you start reading, I mean, from dead languages, Semitic languages, I'm trying to get into those Asiatic languages as well, just so I could get a different understanding of what's going on. And then I want to get into some of those Slavic languages. Man, don't let me start playing with Russian. Let me start learning Russian. Spasiba. До свидания. Nanka. Yeah, man, play with me.
been asked to allow
E
Kamala
pluribus unum.
to be the front runner? Would he have hit? And if he had run and won, if he had ran and won, would he have made that same decision? Do you think him saying, I'm not going to pardon my son, was all contingent on the fact that I'm planning to run again and I'm planning to be president for another 4 years?
But the American people already saw a lot before that, though, that he was cognitively there. And everybody around him said that he was cognitively there. He was in good health, only to find out that, no, that wasn't the case either. It's impossible to even fathom him doing that just because of the age alone. And his mental faculties were not all there, and the guy was already off the deep end.
Yeah, but you're always the last one to know. Like in his own head, he thought he could do this job for another 4 years.
That's crazy.
The ego is a bad boy, man.
It is.
His ego told him physically and mentally,
I'm here.
I can do this job. I'm up to the task. I'm just as fit as anybody else.
Then he
So it
woke
doesn't
up.
surprise me, real talk, that Nick, that you know, he was walking around like, my cognitive skills are just fine. Would anybody be any, like, real talk? Most people, you could look in sports, you know, boxers, fighters, they all fight past their prime. I watch the baddest man on the planet, Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
Step into the ring with what was it, Jake Paul? You know.
All right, see, now this is where it's entertainment. Anybody that watched that Tyson Jake Paul fight, Logan Paul, Jake Paul, that was contractual. As a fighter, even I know. But if I could dodge some punches the way Tyson was, one of us is leaving with a bloody nose, and it ain't going to be Tyson. That was money. And then there was also I want to say a humiliation ritual, because I didn't even know about it, but in the pre-fight or the pre-match interview, Homie Tyson's wearing his jock strap with no drawers underneath. And that shit's caught on camera. I'm sure you could find that on social media. Hold on. Let me see. Let me see. Because I will pull it up for you right now. Tyson. Oh. Underwear. Yeah, hold on. Hold on. See, now I need the link to this too. Y'all play it with me.
I don't pay any attention to it.
Oh, yeah. See, this is. I be knowing stuff, man. I be knowing. Get back to this one. We gonna come right back to Nick Urban real quick. But I'm gonna let you see this Tyson John right here. Just so I hope this is the. Now listen, it might
Pay any
not.
attention to it. We're fighting now. Nothing matters anymore.
What's your prediction?
Now listen, hold on. I need you to understand. Viewer discretion is advised. Alright? Viewer discretion is advised. Highly advised. I don't got the blur out effect yet. I'm still working on a lot of stuff. Viewer discretion is advised.
I don't pay any attention to it. We're fighting now. Nothing matters. We're fighting now. Nothing
What's your
matters
prediction?
anymore.
What's your prediction?
Vicious win.
Vicious win. Thank you, Dad.
Love you.
Love you too.
Look at that, man. Cheeks all out. Cheeks all out. Humiliation ritual. Contractual. Alright. I don't want that man cheeks on the jaw like this. Let me re out. Alright, cool. Cool. So, I say all that to say, entertainment purposes right here. Links to everything will be down in the description below. All that good stuff.
In Mike's head, he actually thought he had a fighting chance.
Yeah, he thought he was moving, huh?
he thought, this is Mike Tyson, 1989, 1991. I'm the baddest man on the planet. And at 58 years old, he stepped in that ring and he found out something that everybody else knew.
All the time is undefeated.
Father Time is undefeated.
Yep.
Yeah, nah, that's cap. I don't think Nicholas Irvin actually watched that fight. Because if you were watching it, then, nah, son. That shit ain't make no sense. I ain't just a Tyson believer, but I'm looking at it from a standpoint of just off his head movement. He still had reaction time. And he wasn't really taking hits like that. He took a couple, throughout the duration of the fight. He was capable of evading major hits. Nah, son. And then some people also had gotten hands on the actual contract and was talking about in the clause how Tyson couldn't really hit him with certain hits. So anyway, this was fun. I hope y'all enjoyed. Ciao.